Foundation, as well as the National Heart Lung Blood Institute, which is the nhlbi.nih.gov. Also, the month of November is epilepsy. Epilepsy, if you've heard of seizures, that's what it is. You have the grandma seizures, the staring seizures, stuff like that. But did you know that 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy in their lifetime? That's a lot of people. It's a billion folks in this world, y'all. More than a billion, okay? So if you would like to know more about that, I think you go to www.epilepsyfoundation.org or www.epilepsy.org or .com. So without further ado, I would like to also bring to you guys a little inspiration of mine that I do each show. Most people don't know what that is. It is a quote that's written by me for me. Now I am bringing it to you. So this particular quote basically says it's Lily entry number 540, which means or states accountability is taking ownership of your inconsistency. Other than that, your inability to excel is just an excuse. So let that marinate for a second. Okay. You got to take accountability in order to move forward. Okay. So without further ado, I would like to bring on my very special guest, Miss Dorothy Dickerson. Yay! Welcome to the show. Miss Dorothy is a mother. She is a foster mother as well, or caregiver, and also a best-selling author of the book titled "In the Midst of It All, I still have the victory." Is that right? Yes, yes, yes. So I would just like to kind of get into it and just see, just for you to tell your story. Where exactly are you from, Miss Dorothy?
I'm from Dallas.
From Dallas, Texas. Like what part of
Dallas,
Dallas?
Texas.
What part of Dallas?
I South Central Cliff, which is little small town we call Joppy.
Joppy. Oh wow, I've never heard of
Joppy.
that before, and I've been here for a minute. So Joppy is
It's
what part of? It's an Oak Cliff area, you said, or
it's
outside of that?
outside of Oak Cliff.
Okay, okay. Is it going towards? Okay, make sure I'm getting
Well,
right.
originally I was born here in Dallas, but I grew up somewhat in Ferris,
Oh, Fair.
Texas.
Okay, I'm familiar with Fair, close to Ennis, Texas, right?
Close to
Okay,
Ennis, right
okay,
before you get to Ennis.
okay,
And
okay.
then we moved when I was like 4 or 5 years old. When I
Mm-hmm.
went to, we moved to Joppy, South Central Oak Cliff.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So do you have any children?
I have one daughter.
One daughter. Okay. Okay. Now I know you are a caregiver as well. So
I'm a caregiver for my special need nephew.
for your special needs. Okay. Okay.
I'm a
And
former foster mom.
okay. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot now, because you got a whole lot of children. Okay. So your birth child is one, but you got a whole lot of children, Miss Dorothy.
I had a whole lot of them.
You
A
got
lot of them came through.
okay, okay. So with that being said, what got you into doing what you do? I know you saying you're a how long, I should say, how long have you
I
been in
did
that?
foster caring for 6 years,
Okay.
almost 7 years now.
Okay. Now how long have you had your nephew is your
He's my biological, I mean, not my biological nephew, but he was adopted. He came through as a foster child as well.
oh wow.
My next to the oldest sister adopted him. She was once a foster mom herself.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
she fell in love with him and she adopted him.
Okay.
And he's 45 years old now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we've been having him ever since he was 3 days old.
Wow. So you and your sister together are caring for him, or
No, my sister passed
she passed
away
away? Okay.
in 2013, I believe.
Oh no. And you just
And
carried it
I've
on, take
been
a
taking
baby.
care of my nephew for the last 9 years. Nine
Okay.
years from now, we'll tell you when she
Yes.
passed away. So
Yeah.
I've been taking care of him for 9 years, going
Oh
on 10
wow.
years.
Okay.
February of 2023 will be 10
Wow.
years.
Wow. Now you have a sister, you have any other siblings?
I have three that are alive. It was
Okay.
7 of us.
Big family. I
Yeah,
love it. Big
seven.
family. Okay. And everybody's here in Dallas area, or have you
Well, I
kind of
have
scattered around?
one that lives in Grand Prairie, and I have one that lives in Dallas.
In Dallas.
We
Okay.
have a family home,
Okay. Okay.
and my The oldest one that is alive is in living in the family home.
The family home. Okay, okay. So that's, so is that in Grand Prairie?
It's
Oh,
in
it's in
Dallas.
Dallas too. Okay. Okay. Well, see, that's how we do it. We keep it in the family. Look, it's that family. It's in your roots, honey.
So it's I did an heirship affidavit,
Mm-hmm.
and so if I pass away, my daughter get my 20%,
Oh, wow.
and then as my sister passed away, her three kids
Mm-hmm.
get her 20%, and so on and so forth.
Wow. So what,
So
Lord
it will
forbid,
always be a room there for
for
someone to
somebody.
live.
Look, you got a permanent residence, honey. Trust me,
It
you
will
will be
always be a
fine.
room there. It's plenty of
Yeah.
rooms
And
there.
it's a family home that you just gonna continue to pass on. That's
Hmm.
a blessing, because now just the average now doesn't have that. So
That's
that's
true.
that's truly a blessing.
It's truly a blessing.
Yeah. So are you married at this point
No,
now?
I'm divorced
Okay.
twice.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Life happens, right? Life
Life
happens.
happened.
Yeah.
I happened to marry one man twice.
Wait, you married the same person two
Same
times?
person twice.
Does it really count as being married two times or just one? Just the same
Well,
person.
he didn't change. So he
It's that
didn't.
camouflage.
He, the second time around was not the charm.
It only matters
He
if it's a
didn't
different person.
change.
That's what they say, if it's a different person. But hey, life happens.
There were no changes.
well, well, to get into more in depth about what your book is entitled, in the midst of it all, I still have the victory, and I'm sure it's loaded with a lot.
It
And
is.
it's not as far as drama. What was the why the book? What is it that led you to writing the book?
Well, I know my story needs to be told, and I have a testimony that the world needs to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
To let them know that you're not alone,
Yeah.
and there's someone there, that someone else that have experienced what you have experienced
Mm-hmm.
or worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, just getting the story out there and not being silent anymore, and just letting someone know that they're not
They're not
alone.
alone. So is it more based off of caregiving? Is it based off of your life experiences
It's
altogether? What
based
is
off
that?
my life
Okay.
experience.
And you do have a group as well called I have the victory.
The group that I have on Facebook is the Victory.
Okay. Okay.
Now I do have a chat group that's within the Victory group
Okay.
that you
Okay.
can also access it through Messenger,
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
chat group, and it's called I Still Have the
Let's see how
Victory.
okay. Gotcha.
And it's
Gotcha.
based off of the book that I
Okay.
written.
What? Tell me a little bit about your book. What is it that? What's because you're a bestseller, right? I was like,
Yes, I'm a
wow. So,
bestseller.
we got a bestseller in the house.
I'm one of
Okay.
the best.
Well,
I'm in the number.
I'm in them
I'm
numbers.
in that number. I can't tell you right offhand what number it is because it's so many thousand ahead of me.
Yeah, that's okay. All that
But
matters is that one. That's
yes,
all that matters.
I'm in the number.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
But the book is based off of my life experience as a victim I was once a victim of abuse.
Oh wow, domestic violence
Domestic
abuse.
violence.
Oh
And that's
wow.
what the book is based off of, telling my story, my truth of
Hmm.
what happened to me
Hmm.
during the time that I was being abused, I was being neglected, abandoned, you name it.
Hmm. Hmm.
All forms of abuse I experienced.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that abuse is more than just physical.
Oh,
It can,
yes.
nowadays the word is being loosely thrown around, narcissist. And I said, you know what? If that's the name you want to give it, but it's not just that word. Okay, it's more than just the person being controlling. It's beyond that. If you can expound upon the different forms of abuse.
Well, like you said, there's different types of abuse that you can be abused mentally, emotionally, physically,
Hmm.
socially.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, there's different
Spiritually as
types
well, I'm sure.
spiritually as
Yeah.
well. I
Hmm.
mean, I have experienced it all,
Oh wow.
to the point where I was being controlled. I was told that I couldn't wear certain clothes. I was told that I couldn't go to go around my relatives, and I
Yeah.
was told, not to speak.
Oh yeah.
I was
Mm-hmm.
even to the point where I was told, you can't speak when you go over to these people's house. Don't you say anything.
Yeah. And it's like that form of taking you away from
I couldn't be
who you are.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
I could
Mm-hmm.
not be myself.
Yeah. Now that so you pretty much have faced pretty much all of that within your life, and I'm sure your
Yes,
book loads that up, a lot of that, of what you had to experience and what you encountered.
absolutely.
Yeah. So have you been around as far as had any conferences or anything like that with your book or promoting your book or?
Well, I did appear once on the author lounge. It's
Mm-hmm.
the Fishbowl radio station
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
located in Arlington, Texas.
Okay. Okay.
And I did appear there once, and I inadvertently was had to speak in at a women's shelter.
Mm-hmm.
I just went to
You thinking you going for
deliver some books. I promised the owner of the shelter that I was gonna donate 50 books to the shelter,
Mm-hmm.
and little did I know when I came to deliver the books that I would have to say a speech in
Yeah.
front of
Oh
all of
yeah.
these women. And I'm like, is I dressed the part? you know, I try to look presentable when I go outside
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, if I had known now, I would have dressed a
No,
little
no.
bit more
But you know what?
formal and.
But it's really about the natural rawness of a person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're delivering the books, you the author delivering the books to them, but it's just something about appearing but not appearing, if it makes sense. You don't want to show. I'm not here for a show. I'm here in my rarest form, and I'm delivering these books to you
Trust me,
guys.
it was
And
rare.
I know you caught
It
off
was
guard,
raw.
like
It
you,
was real raw.
because that you gotta relate. That's the only way you can really relate to people. Like
hmm
when you take off the makeup and you got your hair pent up in a bun, or maybe got your little bunny on. You got it. I mean, that's just what most people need because they come from various backgrounds, I'm sure, especially
Absolutely.
shelters and stuff like that. And sometimes it can be a form of intimidation. You're dressed up and got all this glitz and glamour going on, and they're like, I don't want to talk to her because
Yeah,
she
that's
got too
true.
much going
This
on,
is true.
you
This is
know.
true. But
So yeah.
I wanted to look a little bit more presentable, but I was decent.
Mhm.
I was decent, but I wanted to be a little bit more presentable, and I would have been more prepared,
For it.
for it. But the Bible said, "Be you also ready."
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
you have to be
Stay
ready
ready.
at all times.
Stay ready.
Stay ready.
I preach that. Stay ready. You just never know who you're
Just
going to
never
meet
know.
in that bonnet, or you got your scarf on or something. You
And I
just never
kept
know.
telling the owner, I was like, I just brought my books. I just came to bring my books and drop
Yeah.
my books off. I know that I should have known something was up when I went inside of the building,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to hand her the books, and she said, "No, come on back here. Come on back here. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to meet some people." I said, "Oh, I didn't come here to meet nobody." And she said, "Come on, come on, come on."
Mm-hmm.
And I went on back there, and she said, this other lady that I first talked to, I just went through the yellow I Google
Yeah.
some women's shelters, and I just say, Lord, I just want to be a blessing to
To somebody.
someone.
Mm-hmm.
Someone get my book out there. And I took money out of my own pocket.
Well,
And I'm like,
yeah.
Lord, this gonna cost me a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And even though they gave me a discount for publishing the book,
Mm-hmm.
I still had to pay for those books. And I said, well, it's for a worthy cause. I said those people probably can't afford to buy a book, so I just went ahead and purchased the books myself and took them to them. And I don't know what all I was saying to those peoples.
Oh, it
All
must
I know,
work.
I just stopped and paused and looked, and I'm like, they all staring at me. They expected me to say something. And
Yeah.
so I just started, telling them about how, my parents taught me to,
Mm-hmm.
the gift of giving.
Yeah.
And so I just started giving, and it's I get joy when I can give to others and do
Absolutely.
for others. It makes me so happy within when I can
Yeah.
do for others.
It's that sense of fulfillment. It's like
It
you can't
is.
explain it.
It
It's beyond
is.
getting your favorite piece of candy or something you've been craving for, but that's ongoing and it makes you want to continue to do more and more and more. Now, is that this first book, is that the only book that you have?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I have already written a second book.
Okay. And that book is titled.
I don't look like what I've been through.
Well, honey,
I
look. Is
don't
it
look
like a
like what
stem?
I've
Is it
been
like a
through.
trilogy, like a stem from I Still Have the Victory, or is it a
No,
different approach?
it have nothing to do with abuse.
Okay, okay.
But there was drama in that book too. There's drama in this book. Just
Okay.
drama seemed to follow me. See,
Okay. You know,
that's the story of my
why
life.
not
See,
write a story about it, right?
yes, yes. And so, but in the midst of that book, it's still talking about how good God has been to me.
Hmm, hmm.
I am a walking miracle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have had 4 major surgeries
Wow.
and numbers of procedures,
Hmm.
and so I know that God is a healer. He's a
Yeah,
deliverer.
absolutely.
And so he healed. There's healing not only with physical healing, but there's mental healing too
Yeah.
that you can experience. And I have experienced mental healing, spiritual healing, physical
Look,
healing.
hmm,
And so
I have a word for healing. It's just wholeness. Because it's
wholeness,
just like you, yeah,
completeness.
complete that's just that wholeness. Because like you said, healing can be on different levels, and for some people, but really in the basis of the word itself, healing. Like, what type of healing do I need? Some people need to be delivered. After they're delivered, you need some healing, honey. Go get some healing. But but to heal from that, and healing is ongoing. Anytime it's an ing at the end of a word, that's
Continuous.
continuous. That's like, to me, I've always looked at it that way. If you put an ed at the end, that means it stops somewhere.
Stop.
There's an ending
Yes.
point. Now we ain't finna end nothing.
That's past tense.
Right. We got to continue this thing. We got to keep this going. And healing, to me, is just such a powerful word. But complete healing is knowing that I have been delivered from this. I'm going through, I'm still going through some things, and
Hmm.
even these new
Hmm.
challenges are helping me. I'm learning what I've been healed from,
Hmm.
that I can I still have. It's a process,
It
I'm
is.
still
It
going
is a
through, and I'm still
process.
healing from that. So that's an awesome thing. So you said, so you've written, or you've already started this second book, right?
I already started the second book. I actually put the end at the end of it, meaning I was through with the book. However, I I contracted. I guess it's a word that I'm trying to say. Got COVID.
You got COVID.
I came
Okay.
down with COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and so I need to add COVID off in there
Got to ask
and
somebody how
talking
that
about
hit
how
Bloomers.
because that was dramatic too.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I
You had a
I
worst
pretty
case of
had a
COVID.
worst case of it. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
to the point where I had to say one word, pause, take a couple of breaths, say another word,
Wow.
take another couple of breaths, say another word.
Did you think at some point this was like the end for me?
Yes, I
Because,
actually felt my body slipping away from me.
oh, wow.
I actually did, and I
Yeah.
cried and I prayed, and I know the people at the church were praying for me, and I
Hmm.
know I got a praying sister,
Oh, yeah.
and she prayed, she called and she prayed, and I got a best friend, she called and she
I was like,
prayed.
you gonna get through this. You're
That
not leaving
that
us.
sister there, my best friend, ooh,
Mm.
she prayed for me that day,
And she said, you're not gonna
and
leave us.
I felt that thing.
You gotta get up.
Look, I'm getting country with it. I
Right.
felt that thing.
You gonna get off. You finna get up out this
You
bed,
gonna
honey.
get up out there?
Uh-huh.
I was laying on the couch, just and talking to the doctor.
Mm,
I couldn't even get
mm,
up off the couch,
mm-hmm.
laying on the couch talking to the doctor, and they had to do a visit over, a virtual visit.
Oh, wow.
and I had so much
Yeah,
medicine. I'm
I
like, oh my
know.
God, they
Yeah,
they were working on me. I was trying to
yes.
stay away from that ventilator.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you have your first book, of course, is out, and you're preparing, or you pretty much put the end on it. You got any more books
I
coming in the
have two
future, or you?
other books that I was
Mm,
in the process. You know, I wrote down some notes about the other two books and
mm-hmm.
what I wanted to include in those.
Okay.
So actually, I've been working on three books.
Wait a
Three
minute.
books.
So look, I did some digging. I know one of your book, your third, I think your third book is called God Has a Special Way of Turning Things Around.
Oh
And
yes.
that just which he does. Yeah, it's beyond a special way, but hey, I'm gonna let you elaborate on that because that the book too. What's the title of your second book?
The second book
I haven't
is
gone. I haven't been
oh
through what I've gone through, or something
I
like
don't
that.
look like
Like
what
what
I've
I've been
been
through.
through.
Yes,
I don't look like what I've been through.
yes.
And the third one is God have a special way of turning things around.
Hmm. And these are all your life experiences. I would
These are
assume
all
everything,
about
pretty
my
much.
life experience. I
Hmm.
can't tell about I can only you can't tell it like I can tell it
Exactly.
what had happened to me.
Right.
So these are all based on my life experience. And the third book is it's gonna be a lot of drama in it. But all four books are drama,
Hmm.
have drama in them.
Yeah.
And the third book is gonna more. It's I might talk a little bit about those some things that happen in the marriages,
Hmm.
but it's gonna be totally different scenarios.
Well, the good thing is that they're all coming from a healing place.
They all
It
coming
comes from a
from a
healing
healing
place.
place because I forgave the ones that did me wrong
Hmm.
years ago. I forgave them. I
Yeah.
mean, it was to a point where I couldn't even stand to hear one person's name. Just to say that person's name did something, had me feeling some kind of way.
Listen. Sometimes when you hear it in the wind, be like, what? And the hair stand up on the back of your head. Like, I ain't got no hair, but I got hair. It'll just stand up, and you're like, don't say that name. Then you have to go repent. Lord, forgive me for that because it was just a thought that came through my
Just a
head.
thought,
So yeah.
it was because the hurt was so deep
Hmm.
until, it was just hard to just get over it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't know if you ever just get over it, but you just have to press through and continue to go on. 'Cause life doesn't end right there.
Oh, it
There's
doesn't.
so much more we can live for, so much more we can do and with ourselves besides just sitting around thinking about
What somebody
what
done did
someone
to
that
us.
did or said to you.
Hmm. Hey,
So
that
you
that
need to move on.
that part, and with moving on, forgiveness, because I don't think people really, some people get it, some don't, that they don't understand. You have to forgive. That's the only way you can move on with
That's the
your
only
life,
way you can
because
move on. You
forgiveness
got
is
to
for you.
forgive.
That other
It
person
is for
don't give
you.
a cahoots about what happened.
They living their best
All
life while you sitting over there drowning in sorrow and saying, "Woe is me,"
right.
and I don't know why he did me
Hmm.
like this or why she did me like that,
Hmm.
and how dare them? What did
Hmm.
I do so to
Hmm.
deserve this? And you just have to move on,
Yes,
forgive
yes.
and move on.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and slide past the third book. I'm gonna tell you this fourth book. I can't say your last one. I know when I was reading your just information about you, you mentioned in there this could be your fourth and final book. I'm going, honey, but the title stood out to me, and it says, "No, I'm not your mama, but it takes a village."
No, I'm
And
not your mama.
I'm like, now you can take that all kind of ways with that. Is that more of a relationship type book?
No,
Is
it's
it
about the foster
your
kids that
foster kids? Okay, okay.
my experience. It's going to be about the experience that I had with
The foster
all of
children
my
with your
foster
children.
kids.
Okay.
And I, I hate to say it, but they seem like they sent me some of the baddest of the
You got
baddest.
the worst of the little.
I got the worst of the worst.
No, God, he sent
But
you
they were
just who
so
need it.
innocent and
It's
they were
just
so cute.
sweet. That
Oh my
cuteness wear
goodness.
off,
That
honey. You be like,
cuteness. Don't let the
oh.
cuteness fool you.
You gotta shake yourself. Woo, Lord. Now that's when you had them
There been
dumb.
many nights I went to bed. There was some, well, not many, but there was a few nights I went to bed crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lord, I know you.
You,
I asked you, what should I do after I have retrieved my, attaining my master
mm-hmm.
degree? I said, well, Lord, what should I do? While I'm in the process of trying to find me a job doing what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I went to the mall and I seen this sign that say foster caring.
Oh my
I
goodness.
said, foster caring. I'm like,
I
oh
don't know
Lord,
about
I
that.
don't know about that. But it kept, it just kept tugging at me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
wrote it down and I went on home and set it aside.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would see that, I said, oh, I don't know. And I started, doing my little research and asking questions and stuff. And so
Mm-hmm.
I just called this company and lo and behold,
And it's a need for it. I mean,
it is a need.
it takes a special person or a special people dedicated for sure to take on the responsibility, whether it be elderly or even children, because you don't know what you're bringing in, but you have to trust God through all of this,
It's
because
true.
that it's a different kind, because you if you're not healed or not gone through a healing process with your own trauma,
Hmm.
bringing on other lives, you know, can be, it can mess you up. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
takes a special person to understand that this is a calling. This is not just something I was doing for money or for a job. I'm doing this because I truly love to do. It's like second nature. Now, your nephew, your sister that before she passed, she's one of your older sisters. Is that correct?
Next to the
She's next to the
oldest.
oldest. So, I don't know what the age number is between you two, but it could you say that, or is it safe to say that
It's
you
over
looked
10
at your
years.
sister? Oh, it's over 10 years.
Over 10
Oh,
years.
so it's like more of that passed down, your sister more like a mama figure in a sense.
Hmm.
So taking on the foster care was more like, man, if my sister can do it, I okay, Lord, I hear you now.
Well, when my sister asked me way before she had passed away, she had asked me to, would I be the
The
person that
caregiver.
take care of my nephew? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know. I was still in school trying to work on
Mm-hmm.
my master, and I told her I didn't know.
It's a big
I said that's a big
responsibility.
responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a lot of, he's special needs, so he
Yeah,
had a lot of
a lot of
things going on,
responsibility.
issues.
Yeah.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
big responsibility, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
do this and do that for him. And I'm looking at all of the things that, didn't know that he was going to be a blessing in my life. And
Yeah.
he have been a blessing. I love helping peoples.
Absolutely. That's like that one thing you need when it's funny. We ask God to bless us with certain things or how we want things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. And the one thing you learn in this journey is to, when you pray, be specific,
Be Pacific.
specific about what you praying about, because he doesn't bless us as our sins deserve. And I say that all the time, because he has a way of bringing back around full circle. In your last book, God has a special way of turning things around. I
Hmm.
look at it as not so much a turn it around, but showing you exactly what it is that he was trying to give to you in the first place. But during that time, he could not, because you were not equipped to handle it
Yeah,
at
you
that
have to be
time.
equipped in
Yeah.
order to work with some foster kids and work with my nephew. It's very challenging.
Yes. Now, were you married at the time when you had your nephew with you? Yeah. And
Yes.
it is just certain things that he just could not bless you with, because he needed you to go through it. And you don't learn it. When you're okay, I'm gonna step back for a second. You're in an abusive marriage,
Hmm.
and you have now acquired your nephew. I won't say foster,
Hmm.
I would say your nephew. And now you're taking on another family, and you in this abusive relationship where there's control, and he really don't want you dealing with your family, but he has to accept what's there. And no
Hmm.
one really knows what goes on behind closed doors, the trauma. that goes on with that. You're trying to honor your vows with your spouse and still be the caregiver for your family, you
Hmm.
know. And during those times, we don't see the what God is really doing. Because I'm sure there was a many nights that you was on your knees praying, like, oh my God, Lord, please, just if you could just get me out of this, if you just show
Oh
me a way,
yes.
get
Oh
me and
yes.
nephew out of here. Like, well, I just can't take it anymore. What gave you the strength? What was it? At what point did you say, you know what? I'm done.
Well, the first marriage, it was a marriage that were really more controlling, as far as not uh, wanting me to be around my relatives.
Mm-mm.
And actually, I didn't want to go around my relatives because I had black eyes, I had
Oh,
bruises on my arms, I had bruise on my neck,
oh wow.
and I didn't want to go around my relatives that way. If my
Yeah.
relatives had seen me in that type of predicament, that would have been a lot of a lot of my nephews
Yeah.
and cousins in jail or in prison behind this man.
Yeah, that
And
don't go so well. Even if it's
so
family that you don't talk to often and they see like, what's going on? You good? And they just show up out of nowhere and you like, oh, wait a minute.
it would have
Yeah.
been a lot of issues going on there. So I hid myself away from my relatives.
Okay. So
Even though he didn't want me to be around him, but I also hid myself too. I only would go around my mom and my dad.
okay. They knew
They knew that they knew I was having marital problems, but they didn't know to what
extent.
extent
Mm.
that the problems were. They didn't know that I was being abused. I never disclosed that to them, that
Oh
I was being
wow.
abused.
But a mama knows. You know now. Mama knew.
Mama knew.
They know.
She knew something wasn't right.
What was your defining moment?
When I found out I was pregnant with the first marriage, I found out that I was pregnant, and
Mhm.
I was determined not for to be in that predicament with my child. I did not want my child to grow up
Oh
in
wow.
that type of environment.
Mhm. Mm. And then you guys divorced the first time, and
I
then
divorced, and then I married another man. It was years later,
mhm.
and I married another guy, and he wasn't as
Oh, it's
abusive
abusive.
as
Hmm.
the first husband. He
Hmm.
wasn't more. He did break my finger.
Oh
He did
wow.
break my finger,
Yeah.
but he was not as abusive as the first husband. His were more controlling, and he was the one that really didn't want me to go around my relatives.
The second
The
one was like,
second one,
mhm.
he will always call
Mm.
when I go to my relative home. Even though I'm going to my mom's house, I will have to call him and let him know that I was there, and
Oh
put my
wow.
mom on the phone to let her know that I was there. Let him
Wow.
know that I was there.
Yeah. And it I
It
it's
got to the point where I would make a list of the places where I was going so that he can
wow.
follow up with me.
I don't know
I
what's
mean, it
worse.
got to it got
Ooh.
so bad to I went to the store. That's when Walmart was out. There were
Mhm.
many moons ago
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
Walmart, I mean not Walmart, Kmart.
Kmart without.
Kmart
Mhm.
was here in Texas.
Yes, yes.
And I have this sixth sense about me. I can feel when someone is staring at me.
Wow.
And I can tell when someone is in a room, even if I'm asleep, I can tell someone, I can
Mhm.
pick up on their spirit in that room.
Mhm.
And I kept feeling someone staring at me. And sure enough, I turned around. He was right behind
So he
me.
followed you to the
He
store.
followed me to the store,
Whew.
and he was staring at me.
Oh my
That's in
Jesus.
my book.
Oh
How he
wow.
was staring at me at the store. And I'm like, this is too much.
Mm. I used to think that why we're strong women by nature, but what is it that kept you there? Was it the fear that he would do something to you? What was it that
Well, believe it or not, I wasn't fearful. I'm not a
okay.
fearful person. Um, I it was love. I felt like in in my stupidity, I felt like a lot of it was my fault. I
Oh
blame
wow.
myself.
That
I'm
is
real hard on
whoa.
me.
Yeah.
And I blame myself. You could do better. You can stop
Mm,
nagging. You can be quiet. When they say shut up, shut up.
wow.
Shut your mouth.
That's the inadvertent part of the whole abuse.
Hmm.
It's that manipulation for you to make it feel like it's your fault, and then you start, well, if I do this more, it'll change, or maybe if
Hmm.
if I just tell them where I'm going, well, it doesn't get better, and it's not gonna change, it gets worse.
It actually does.
Yeah. So how in the second marriage, you have your daughter, you left the first marriage, you were strong enough to say I'm done, and you take your daughter and you go on, and then a couple of years later, a few years later, you meet your second husband,
Hmm.
and you only find out that, oh my goodness, this ain't no better than what I just came out of.
Well, it was good. It was good. There was some good highs and lows in both of the marriages.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The second one was lots. I wasn't being a physically abused. More the abuse from the second marriage came from being controlling.
The control part.
The
Mhm.
control part, really controlling.
Yeah.
And I was also just mostly controlling the
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
mentally abusing me. I mean, it was a mind game of playing with me.
Mm. So how did you, where, at what point at this one, how long were you married?
The
The
first
second.
one was 4.5 years.
Okay.
This off and on we was in, cause every time I'm not just gonna sit there and let you just constantly hit on me. So I
Mm.
would leave,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would some kind of way let him talk me back, coming
Mm.
back, and I
Mm.
would come back, and and instead of things getting, it would be good for like 3 months, 2 months,
It's
maybe four
typical
months,
nature of an
and
abuser.
then
Mm-hmm.
then it start all over again. And then it's worse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the second one, 23 years.
23 years of
23
control.
years.
Wow. 23 years of just being controlled. I
Being
don't.
controlled, told I couldn't wear certain clothing. And I'm not a person that show a lot of skin anyway. But
Right.
I mean, even
Wow.
I couldn't wear anything to please this man.
Wow. And that's what you learn. And what where in the 23 years, I'm sure and I get it, you had your ups and your downs in both marriages,
Mhm.
even in this one of 23 years. What made you stay? First of all, what did you feel like the reason why you stayed so long?
Well, it was like I said, there was some ups and there was some downs. There were more ups and downs, but I stayed because I actually loved my husband.
You loved him.
I cared for him.
And this
And
this my
he,
ultimate question though, before you go any further than that, did he love you? Do
that
you
is
think?
a good question.
Because you know and everybody define it differently, and I'm learning that as well. It's like you loved him with everything in you,
I love
but did he
hard.
love you?
When I love hard.
It's like, but
And
did
I'm
he
a very
love
forgiving
you?
person. I'm a
Yeah.
very forgiving person. I mean, I will forgive you. You
Hmm.
step on my toe, I'm like, oh, she didn't mean that,
Hmm.
And then you step on again, I'm like, wait a minute, what? I don't think she meant that.
Yeah.
And I'll go,
Hmm.
but after a while, I get to thinking, maybe she do mean it.
Yeah. So I mean, for someone to love someone so deeply, to stay in these relationships is, and I'll say this because and I think before the show we kind of talked a little bit, and I was saying, I used to look differently at women or even men in particular that would stay in an abusive relationship. Like, why would you stay? If you got enough strength in you to walk away, walk away. But it wasn't, not so much my own personal experience, but it wasn't so much until meet knowing someone who was actually in it, and she said, "You don't understand. If I walk away right now, it's not as easy as you think to get out of
Yes,
this.
that's true.
If I walk
This is
away,
true.
it's I don't care about him putting his threat on my family, because he ain't gonna put his threat on my family. He don't care about that. But he will find me and he will kill me. I
Well,
don't want to die." And I'm like, "Do you realize that you're dying every day that you stay?"
spiritually,
Every
mentally.
day, you know. And being able to walk with her through that journey was probably one of the it was rough, because there are times she was like, "I gotta," it was ways that we had to do things,
Hmm.
move different,
Hmm.
as they say now. We had to
Hmm.
move a little different and not give him any inclination of what was going on, to the point to where we would tape recording stuff. Like I said, like, "Hey, keep your record on." When we go in here, make sure the volume is down, but you can still hear. You just turn it up.
Hmm.
Make sure the volume is down. Make sure the battery's good on that thing, because if he find out that you recording it, it's gonna get real crazy. We don't want that. You- she was just trying. He was a very prominent person, so we didn't want it to be sad to say he was in the church, and he preached every day. I
Well,
mean, every Sunday.
one of my husband was a minister. The other one was a deacon.
You see, that's a lot. That's a lot, because and it scars people. And I was like, "You standing up here preaching this stuff, and you go home and putting your hands on your wife every day.
It's
Like, come
not
on,
uncommon.
dude. Like,
It
what
is
are you
not
doing?"
uncommon.
And that's just a broken person. So when you say, "I stayed that long because I truly loved him," and I'm like, "But did he love you?" And the ultimate question is, did he love himself? Because someone
That's a
who
good
truly
question.
love themselves can't see them hurting
Hurting
someone
someone
else,
else. That's
you
true.
know.
This is
So
true.
that is one of the I guess the ultimate, questions. Did he love you? And
At some point, I honestly believe that they did love me
okay, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, and maybe some
because I
healing.
reciprocated the love. I can
Hmm.
feel the love, and
Hmm.
they showed the love at some point.
Yeah, and somewhere there was some breakdown that where it's like this is overpowered. I call them demonic, them the demons that they fighting with. So they feel like in order that it's the demon that stands up before the true person. It's like the true person is trying to fight to move this demon out the way, but it's like so strong, or that stronghold. It's like, no, I'm gonna be this because this is just what it is.
Well, my first husband, he experienced trauma in his
Hmm.
childhood with his
Mm.
dad abusing his mom.
Oh
So it
wow.
was like a generational curse that went
Mm.
from generation to generation.
Mm.
And I didn't know that that was the case until I talked to one of his sisters.
Oh wow. And they really get into the
And
depths of it
she
and
she
tell you.
told me after I had came back from jail,
Uh-oh.
in the first
Wait.
chapter of this book, first chapter of this book, I went to jail.
Oh. Wait. Was it because of something that he did to you, or it was
He he physically abused me, but I threatened him. I never heard of assault by threat until that day.
y'all hear that? I'm confused. Like how? So he put his hands on you,
He put his hands on
but
me.
because you threatened him, you go to jail.
I went to jail.
Who child is
He also went to jail because I pressed charges for him
assaulting you?
assaulting me.
Mm-hmm.
He pressed charges for assault by threat.
Mm.
That was my first time ever hearing assault by threat. But
Interesting.
yes, ma'am,
Wow.
I went to jail.
Okay. Well,
Never been to jail before in my life. I was scared. I was
wow.
so afraid.
Wow. Well, to fast forward, because we don't want to give away too much from the book, and just tell everyone, please get the book. It is it's not a long read, but I think it's very powerful read. Read it slow, page by page. Okay.
Yes,
But
I
but
jumped right in.
yeah,
Right
I'm
in.
just gonna give it to look. We finna go when you open up this, take this the what is the cover off this dinner plate. You ain't got time to look at it. Just eat.
I jumped right in. I mean, chapter one, I went to jail.
Wow.
I jumped right into the
So to
the
go,
heart of the meat of the book.
So just to go back to your second marriage, you said 23 years you stayed in it. What was a defining moment in that one for you to say, I can't do it
Well, I
anymore?
had enough was enough. He continuously left me
Okay, you continued to walk out of the
to walk
marriage.
out of the marriage, and I
Mm-hmm.
I mean there was infidelity in in both of the marriages,
Mm-hmm.
and there was so many women's calling me, and
Oh man.
they're staying out at 4 o'clock in the morning, not coming home, not
Woo.
checking in.
Mm.
I put the, what do you call that, boat deadbolt lock on the door one day because I wanted to make sure I know what time he came in that night.
Has he ever did he ever physically assault hit
He
you in the
broke my
bedroom?
finger.
He broke your finger. Okay, that's
He
the only
got in
time
his
he.
rage. He went to slam the door because we were having a dispute. He
Mm.
slammed the door, argument, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And he slammed. It wasn't that serious. I promise you.
Oh
It was not that
wow.
serious for him to slam the door. And he went, I guess that was his way of shutting me up,
Mm.
and didn't realize my hand was there in the door frame, and he slammed that door on my hand.
And you walked away from the
Broke
marriage,
one of
did
my
you?
finger.
After that, well, how long did you stay?
Oh, I continued to stay in the
You
marriage.
stayed in it.
That wasn't enough for me to leave.
Oh man. What from the
I mean,
control to the we're gonna argue, have our heated disputes from the infidelity is just what enough.
it
Where
wasn't enough at that time. At that
that time.
time, it
Okay.
wasn't enough for me to leave.
Okay. So when did you just finally say, I'm done. I can't
I
do this anymore?
finally said that I was done when I moved into our family home, and I came home from church
Mm.
and discovered that everything was gone. Everything of his was gone. Well, he left a closet full of jackets and
Coats. Coats and
coats and
things.
jackets. He
Mm.
left a lot of coats and jackets there. But everything else, his TV was gone. He had two TVs. Both of the TVs were gone. Everything. His shoes. I look in the drawers. Everything gone.
So was it like a lot of
That's how he would
division?
do me.
So it was
When
like
he
a
leave, he just pack up and go.
oh, so when you pack up, you see that one last time, you just pack up and don't let the what they say, don't let the good Lord hit you with what don't let
Doorknob
the
split.
don't
No,
hit you with a good
yeah,
Lord
it
split you.
split you. Yes.
Okay, well when you walk, you better keep walking, player. Cause there won't be no coming back. This ain't no revolving door. That kitchen door where
Well,
you
he
walk
kept
out and come.
coming back, kept
Mm-mm.
coming back. Every time he would get up on his feet, he would leave.
Mm. So it's
Then
more
he'll
so
come back to me with no money, no nothing,
and expect you to pick him
and
back up.
and he'll get some money saved up and get him a job, get him some money saved up, and leave again.
So this particular time, everything was gone, and it was like I'm
Well,
done.
he did that several times before.
Mm. But this particular time was like, that's it. You gone? Fine.
That was it.
Wow.
I was tired, sick and tired of it all.
Mm.
Kept dealing with that. And I had told him, we had a conversation. I said, you leave again. Next time you leave, mine was to leave for good.
So I'm just appalled that this one wasn't, other than your finger being broken, he's never physically hit you. It was just more of the
He
control
made
of where you were going.
attempts to
Attempts.
hit me. He have
Okay.
threatened to do things to me,
Yeah.
but he never went through with them. But he did break that finger that one time, and um, called me out of my name several
Of
times.
course, that's pretty
The
much seems
verbal
to be
abuse, that's
the
verbal
low of all
abuse.
lows is when they call you out your name. They call you what you're not, and that old saying goes is you're not what they call you. You only become what you answer to. So you don't
Exactly.
answer to that crazy tomfoolery that's coming out of their mouth. Let them talk
Exactly.
because that's really how they feel about themselves. But
That's true.
but when you're going through it, it's just like, okay, I guess I am that then. Just to get out of it. But I applaud you for even having the courage to step to say, I'm done both times. And a lot of times we stay in relationships and situations longer than we should have. Like we should not be
Well,
there.
each time, each other each of them would tell me, I'm gonna do better. They make broken promises to me, would say, I'm gonna do better. I'm going to counseling. I'm gonna get something, some counseling for this anger.
Mm.
And when they get back there, the counseling, I mean, the anger, they never get counseling. They never get marriage counseling, none of that. I
Mm.
mean,
So you spend your time trying to, I guess, to fix it. It's that broken promise things you
and I
talked
will
about. So,
pray and pray and pray. Lord, fix my marriage. Lord, fix my marriage.
mm.
That was the first one. I would always pray, Lord, fix my marriage. And I got to the point where I said, Lord, whatever your will
Whoo,
is.
child, when you see that's what should have been prayed in the beginning.
I know,
Whatever
I
your
know.
will is,
I'm
because
a person. If I'm doing something, whatever I'm doing,
mhm,
I'm all in it. I'm putting both hand, feet, and all. I'm in it.
mm,
I'm gonna
yeah,
work hard. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and I'm gonna work hard at it.
mm,
I don't like failing. I
mm.
don't like to fail.
And when you mentioned the Lord fix my marriage, and it seems like it just wasn't moving fast enough, I guess, in a sense. Lord, fix my marriage, fix my marriage, fix my marriage. Well, in all nationality, before he can really fix the marriage, you got to fix the person first. And yeah,
Exactly.
the fixing
Exactly.
starts with the person that's even the person that's asking, Lord, can you please fix my marriage? Like, I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired feeling this way. I'm tired of him treating me like this. I'm tired of him talking to me this way. I'm tired of the control. I'm tired of the abuse. But the ultimate was, Lord, your will, because we're still in the way. When we're asking God to help us or
Hmm.
fix something, we
Hmm.
still have our hand in that because we go back to it. Because sometimes that the broken finger, I don't know how long it was before you decide, before the ending of you guys when he broke your finger. That sometimes there are warnings that's given to us, or
Hmm.
even when you walking in the store and you feel this sense that this clown is actually here.
Well, he
Are
did
you
it more
really
than
here?
once. He did
Yeah,
it like 2 times. He
those are
called
those
me at the store.
warning signs. It's like he provide warning and provide those escapes. I don't know, I wasn't in your marriage or what have you, but if you're not ready to receive those warning signs, we ignore them because of something that the trick of the devil would do. That demon that plays around, the demon, he was an angel too, because people forget that. He played that card as well.
Well, I'm the kind of person I always, like I say, I'm hard on me. I
Mm,
always think, what can I do better? How can I make things better?
yeah, just don't blame yourself for what somebody else is doing, because it's never
Well,
that
that's what I
bad.
was doing for a
Yeah.
long time. In both
Mm-hmm.
marriages, I was blaming myself for their behavior
Mm. Ooh, but when
until
you
I started looking at, hey, this is not me. I didn't do anything.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
hadn't said anything.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, what did I do wrong?
Wow. Well, we know now, and it's just a blessing and an honor to have you here to even again to talk about it, and that there is healing in that, y'all. If you in something you shouldn't be in, we'll give you some
There is
information on
healing.
how to reach her in a minute.
There is
But
resources in the back of my book.
absolutely, well, awesome. We can
I
share
actually
that.
called one of the I before while I was writing the book, I was calling the resources that
Mm-hmm.
I have in my book. And I called one of the resources and I was just calling and hanging up, making sure that it was still the right number because I
Mm-hmm.
Googled these numbers
Mm-hmm.
and I was just calling and hanging up. I called one number and hung up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady called me back.
Of
She
course.
said, "Ma'am, did you need any help? Are you in any danger?" I said, "No, ma'am, no, ma'am." She was getting ready to call the police and have
Oh
someone
yeah,
come,
something they
to
that's
rescue me.
the help is there. Oh,
Help
they
is
will
there.
come. It's just
So
like calling
these are
911 and hanging up.
very
Yeah.
these numbers are current.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you will, I can go ahead and give one
Well,
out.
we're gonna hold that off before
Okay.
we do. Just have a few more questions for you. And you
Okay.
did kind of touch bases on a few of them, but what inspires you? What is it that inspires you?
Um, just helping others. I love to help other people's. It
Okay.
gives me great joy within to be a help to someone. Just letting them know that, their help is available to them. I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm willing to do whatever I can to help someone to bring out, to come out of whatever situation they're in. If you're in
Yeah.
an abusive situation, you want to call me, you want me to pray with you want me,
Just whatever it is,
cry
just
with
make
you or
yourself
whatever.
available. Yeah.
I will get you the help that you need. I mean,
Okay.
because I might not have the finances to put you up in a hotel somewhere,
But you can
but
be of
I can
help to
get you
them.
some help. I
Awesome.
know where the sources is to get you the help that you need.
Okay. So what are some of your challenges at this point?
The only challenges I have right now is being having the finances that I need to do the things I want. I want to
Mm-hmm.
do so much.
Mm-hmm.
I have a heart of helping peoples, and I got so many great ideas.
Mm.
And I just, if I had $1 million, if I
Child,
had a million,
you work with that what you got left. You better work with that $1.
if I had a million, I mean,
Yeah.
I would have all kind of foundations and
Mhm.
and shelters and group homes and just some of everything going.
Absolutely. Do you have any regrets of anything? Any regrets?
Yeah, I have had some regrets, but I just thank God that through it all, everything that I have experienced
Mhm.
have made me the person that I am today.
Good.
And I used to say, when I was going through my experience, I used to say, why me? Why me? Why?
Why not you?
And then the Lord told me, why not you?
Mm,
And I figured out my purpose. My
mm.
purpose in life was to be a help to someone. I went through what I went through so I can be able to tell people that they can come out of it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you can come out victorious.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. So, what are you hoping to accomplish? What are you hoping to accomplish? And
I'm hoping to accomplish so many things. I have so many accomplishments.
name
Uh,
one. I do know
um,
finishing those books because
Finishing the
yeah.
books are my short term
Hmm.
um, accomplishment that I'm looking goals.
Hmm.
Long term is having a shelter,
Hmm. Hmm.
having some group homes for those women's and children that are being abused.
Hmm.
They need somewhere to go. They need a safe haven.
Yeah.
And so I want to provide them that safe haven.
Awesome.
And I've been saying I want to have a daycare center.
Yeah.
I can help with the kid, but I can send them home. I don't want to stay with
It
me
was
no
like,
more.
look, I'd have had my fair share,
Because
right?
I don't want to stay with me no more.
You done had your fair share of that, right?
I had my fair share of that.
I,
It's different at a daycare than because you can send them back home. You can send them home that
right.
same day.
They went,
Foster care, and they staying with you.
oh yeah, you got to
They gonna
deal with
live
that.
with you.
Yeah. Did you have? I'm sure you've had your challenges with
We
that
have to
as
have them
well.
30 days before we can get rid of them.
Oh wow, so that's how that
Well, it
process goes.
depending on the severity of the nature of each case is case by case basis.
Hmm.
Because some I have had some. One I had a couple of weeks, and we had to do a 24-hour
Oh.
release on him because he destroyed my place. So
Oh wow. Yeah. So being able to handle that, he needed a different type of care. Like
oh
definitely not
yeah.
in the home environment setting for sure. So do you have any like special caring for everyone, I'm sure that comes creativity. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
any special talents or gifts that you have that you
Well, a lot of people don't know that I'm an artist.
like
I can
artists
draw.
like sing?
No, I can
Huh.
draw.
Awesome. You can draw.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I see. I wish we
I
had some of
used
your
to draw very, very well. I'm probably a little rusty right now because I hadn't drawn anything in quite a few years now. But I
yeah.
used to draw people just as they are.
Oh,
I used to
actually
draw.
freelance draw
Oh
a
yeah,
person.
I
Wow.
can look at you and look at all the curves and the shapes in your face and
Wow.
sketch it out and then fill it in.
Wow, that's like a form of therapy when
Oh
you can pick
yes,
up
it
those special
is. It
gifts
is
and be able
absolutely.
to do
I
that.
used to just sit there and draw all day long. Take a
Wow.
break and draw some more. I won
Wow.
several contests.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to dig, and we're gonna have to go do some more digging and get some of the artwork you got to put out there so we can see
I think one
what
of
you
my
do.
sisters might have some of
Some of
my
the work.
artwork. I used to draw pictures when I was younger. Um, Coming up, I used to draw pictures, and my dad would make picture frames,
Hmm.
and put them in there in the picture frame. We were selling in the neighborhood.
Wow. Did you ever sign and date
I
your
signed
artwork and
them.
stuff? Wow. You just never know. We'll see one of your art piece of artwork somewhere.
Yeah,
It's like
I
I
know
drew
a
that.
couple of
Yeah.
homes. I can remember a couple of homes where I don't know if the people still live there in them
Mm-hmm.
homes, but if they still living in those homes, they probably still have some of my paintings on their
Awesome. Well, you
walls.
gotta. I definitely encourage you to get back into it. Don't sleep on that gift, honey. You don't use it.
Well,
Take
you
it
know what? I
away.
lost the love of art when I married my first husband.
Well, now you are no longer
My
married to him. Get back in it.
self esteem was so low,
Mm,
and I was being belittled. You know, and that wears and tears on your mind,
mhm.
mentally, uh, emotionally. So yeah,
So, do you think you'll ever pick it back up again?
someday.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hobby at first.
Well, you just never
It's
know.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Well, this is like one of these questions that I ask all the time because it's so important because a lot of people are at a certain phase in their life and they feel like, hey, I'm just not there. I don't have what it takes to do this. Any what is it uh, for first and foremost before I even go there? What does success look like to you?
Well, success is success to me is attaining your goal, your ultimate goal.
Mhm.
You know, achieving what you have set forth for yourself to reach. You
Mhm.
know, aim. You set an aim, and you said, "Well, I want to be there at such and such a time, and this time next year I want to be doing this, that, and that."
Mhm.
Achieving what you have set forth for yourself to.
Awesome. It's always interesting to hear those everyone's different views because I have some people that really believe that success is obtaining a whole lot of things. Yeah, but it's a little bit more than that. You got to keep working at something, keep to maintain those things and to keep getting those, acquiring those things. So, but that's fairly interesting. So,
Yes, once you reach that goal, you got to keep working with that goal.
see, look
You
at
don't
there.
just reach that goal and say, "Oh, I got that under my belt. I'm gonna move on to the next something."
Just
I
have to
mean,
keep
is you
doing it.
really into it for I when I attain my goals as to write this book, I went all in.
Mm,
That was one of my goals. I went all in writing this book.
yeah,
I felt what I put in this book.
of
There was
course. Yeah.
some nights I had to literally go close my computer up,
Hmm.
shut my computer down
Hmm.
because I was on a desktop, shut my computer down and go to bed and rest my brains and
Yeah.
take a woosah because I was feeling exactly what I went through. I
Yeah, it's kind of like you
I was
reliving.
reliving what I went through.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
it was my goal to write this book and get my story out there, my truth out there. But I relived it
Yeah.
as I was writing it.
So how can you encourage these newbies that's coming out here? Even not even newbies. It can be anyone of your age, the younger kids now are driven through technology for the most part. A lot of them don't really know what hard labor is. But you have some, and not just with them, just anybody. What could you give to them?
Well,
What
stay
type of
focused. You want to stay focused.
Mhm.
You want to set some time frames for yourself.
Mhm.
Say, hey, I want to do this. I want to be doing this. Even if you want to put a date on it, put a date
Mm,
on it. I want to
yeah.
be doing this as in next year in December. I want to be
Hmm.
doing that, this, that, and that.
Hmm.
But you have to work towards it. You can't just give
Say
up
it and
because
give up.
you ran across a stumbling block, or you have some obstacles that come about your way. You got to keep towing, keep going,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you got to encourage yourself sometimes. I mean, Everybody
Well,
is not going to pat you on your back.
yeah,
You have to pat your own self on your back and say, "Hey, you're doing a
yeah.
good job. Keep going.
And
Keep going, girl."
we're our own worst critics anyway.
Hmm.
So it's like you have to continue to pat yourself on. Girl, you did good today. That's all right. You didn't quite reach your goal today, but God dog it, you still got tomorrow.
You
You get up
still got
tomorrow, you
tomorrow.
got it.
There's
So
always
yeah,
tomorrow, and you can keep
absolutely.
going.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to know now, how can we contact you? If someone wanted to reach you, how can they contact you?
I um they got my phone number out there.
Well, hey, hey,
817.
you want to call
I can
you?
be reached at
Yeah.
817-884-6051.
Mm-hmm.
Business. If you
Business.
want to talk business,
Absolutely.
but if
Yeah.
you want prayer, you want to be, you just want to someone to listen, a listening ear, I am here for you.
Okay. And you're on Facebook as
I'm on
well, two
Facebook.
platforms.
The name of my group is um
The
I
Victory.
forgot the
Is it
victory.
I think it's the
The name of the
Victory.
group is the Victory Group.
Okay.
Now, I also have a personal page on Facebook. I
Okay.
was told that I was in Facebook jail. I don't know, but
But
I can go. But they allow me to post and.
yeah.
But as you Google my name, it's all grayed out. I
Oh
mean,
wow. Well, actually, I can
there's
see it.
nothing.
Usually, when I go out, I can still see it. Your background, your picture, and
So
stuff
I'm
like
like,
that.
I don't understand
Yeah.
why they said my niece and nephew say I'm in Facebook jail,
Okay.
but I'm able to post and people are able to respond, and
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. But when you Google my name, for some reason, it's coming up all grayed out. So I don't know. But the Victory Group is it's a group that I have created, and it's based off of my book. That's why I create the book. I mean, create the group. And within the Victory Group, I have a chat group.
Okay.
It's called I still have the
The Victory.
victory.
Okay, gotcha.
I still
So
have the victory.
okay, and that is
And
that's more private
the
for
chat
those.
group is for anyone that
Oh,
want to
anybody.
join,
Okay.
and it's more of an intimate setting. I have had when I first opened up, I was debating, and I
Mhm.
said, "Lord, give me," I said, "I want to be able to be more help to these peoples," you
Mhm.
know. Whereas in the group, a lot of people don't want to disclose what
Oh,
they're going through, how
of
they
course.
hurting.
Yeah.
But with the chat group, we got people that are telling me, "Hey, I experienced
Can other
this."
people see that within that group as
You
well
have
when
to
they talk about it?
join in order to
To see
see
it.
it.
Okay. Okay.
You have to
Gotcha.
be a part of the I Still Have the Victory
Okay.
chat group
Gotcha.
in order to see it.
Okay. And then you're on Instagram
I
and
am on
Twitter.
Instagram, on Twitter, and yeah, those
Okay.
those are all of all of the
Yes.
avenues
Yes.
that I can think of. I
Yeah,
don't
to
think I'm
just put on
missing
every
anything.
platform.
All of the platforms that I can think
Yes,
of.
yes, awesome. Well, I would like to thank my guest, my lovely guest, Miss Dorothy Dickerson, for being here with us today.
Thank you for
She's
having me.
truly, truly been a blessing, and to share her story and her testimony. It takes a lot of courage to step forward in front of the book or the movie or the set. And I the reason why I say set or refer to it as a movie, because I truly believe our lives are lived in the eyes or the film of someone. We
It's
don't
true.
realize
It's
that
true.
until we continue, and as we continue to grow. And when you get to a certain age in your life, you'll understand that. But I truly, truly thank you. And if you don't mind, can you hold up your book for me again? It's In the Midst of It All. I Still Have the Victory by Miss Dorothy Dickerson. Her information was on the screen, and you can play it back to get that information if you would like to reach out to her. The book is purchasable on Amazon. Is that
It's
correct?
online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
Okay.
Target, and Walmart.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So our bestseller is here in the house. Okay. So if you like any additional information about that, you can definitely join. So I would like to, we're gonna change the segment and maybe switch gears a little bit here. I wanted to bring on a question or two. This is the fun segment for our special guests. So we're gonna take it off a little bit. So this is the platform where we just ask questions, just our honest opinion, and just to put a disclaimer out there, These are just our opinions, okay? Don't take that to heart. It's just our opinion. Everybody's entitled to that. Well, we have our first question. It's Ask Miss Nick. Is it Damon? He's 45 years old from Frisco, Texas. My wife was raised in the hood and I'm from the suburbs.
Mhm.
We got into a big fight about paper plates and dinnerware. She liked eating off paper plates, and myself like nice dinerware. Even when we bring takeout foods home, she says this is a damn bougie, a too damn bougie for a man. What do you think? What do you think?
Oh wow. Man, some of them are like they from the cave years and they
Yeah.
don't care about no fancy nothing. They don't. They
Well, I mean, she's from the hood. He's more of a he upscale.
Oh, okay. I misheard the question. Okay, well, mm, it's different with a woman. Well, some women's don't care. They from the hood, they country. I'm a country girl myself.
Yeah.
I was raised
She want them paper
partly in
plates.
Paris. I use paper plates all the time because I don't have to wash that many dishes.
Well, sometimes I think. Well, maybe he's trying to take her out of her element.
It's a formal and dinner, and you inviting guests, to a formal where you're not having a whole lot of guests. Then yeah, bring out your best china and some plates. Your what do you call those
The
wine
forks,
glasses
glasses,
and stuff? Bring out
look.
your best china.
I honestly took it like, she don't want to wash no dishes. And I ain't mad at the girl. Look, she don't want to wash no dishes, but hey, look, baby, do we gotta eat on this every day, every night? We gotta do this. but hey, it is what it is. It's whatever works for them. So the next question I have is me too. And I always say one moment as I tease my kids all the time. So it's just our next question will be Kimmy. She's 41 from Colorado Springs, Colorado. She says, my husband and I have been married for about a year now, and sex is pretty good because doing lovemaking, I cry sometimes when I reach my orgasm. Is this normal, or should I keep the bed wet with my tears? Please help. She's like, what? Oh, gee. What? What do you think? There's a whole that can go either way. Some trauma maybe with that. She's
Yes, it
crying
could be
sometimes when
trauma.
she's going through it, but she says she enjoy it when it's great. So what do you think? She's not a what do you think? What's your opinion?
It could go either way, like you said. It could be that she have experienced some childhood trauma, just don't know what she have experienced, but I can't see you enjoying it and crying too.
No, it's like, is it that good that you gotta cry?
Crying,
I'm still confused on that one, but
I'm
okay.
a little bit confused about that. That's why I went. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's trying to process. It's like I let this marinate. Let me see. Ooh.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's just
But
my
some people do cry when they're happy.
yeah. Oh, well. Well.
They do. Some people do cry when they're happy.
But alone though, is it that good that you gotta cry?
Maybe that was a happy tears. I don't know. I don't know. Don't
I
get me
don't know.
mad. I don't know.
Baby, just
I
keep
ain't
wetting the
never did
bed.
that.
Look, don't worry about it. Keep wetting the bed with your tears. Keep wetting the bed with your tears,
I
honey.
never done that before. I don't know.
All right. Well, without further ado, again, I would love to love and thank you so much for joining on that quick segment there. But I always like to take something completely off topic and just to bring it full gear just to get your opinion
Mhm.
about it and what you think. But nevertheless, I would like to thank you so much, Miss Dorothy, for
Oh, you're
coming on the
welcome.
show
And thank
and
you for
sharing
having
your
me.
experience. You're welcome. And sharing your experience, your life. Again, it takes a lot of courage to stand in front of a camera or anybody for that matter
Anybody.
to tell your story. I'm grateful to be a part of your healing journey. because speaking about what you're going through is a part of that healing, which is
That's
ongoing.
true.
We're never healed from anything because we're continuously healing. That
Healing.
comes with
That's
growth
true.
as well. So, thank you again so much for joining us. And to my listening audience and guests, thank you once again for joining Ball Talk with Kim, smoothing out the truth. And we will see you next week.